So everyone's very welcome at our panel. It's not my first time at the White Nights. The conference keeps getting bigger, getting better, just like the industry, especially gaming industry in Russia, which also makes me quite happy. Today I would like to discuss hybrid monetization in detail, using Cooking Diary, one of our titles, as an example. For me personally, it's also a very interesting topic, since I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at MyTona. I manage monetization and in-game revenue of all of our titles. This is my plan. A few words about MyTona and our story. Next, a few words about what Cooking Diary is. A third about monetization strategies and the popularity of different strategies on the market, and what we use for Cooking Diary. MyTona is a developer and publisher, was founded in 2004 by two brothers in Yakutia. Data Magic says that in September last year we were second after Playrix in terms of top grossing gaming companies from Russia. We've had many years of experience in casual. Now we're trying different genres as well. We have 6 offices, 4 in Russia, the main one, headquarters in Yakutsk. We also have offices in Petersburg, Ivanovo and Vladivostok, and an office in Singapore, and one in the glorious city of Auckland, New Zealand. This is the MyTona map with all of our branch offices and with the cities where people who work remotely are located. So if you're looking for a job, you don't have to travel to Auckland. You can sit in Chelyabinsk and work for MyTona. MyTona.com, there's a list of vacancies there as well. So these are the games that we have now, 3 in global launches. On the top level, Sickest Notes is our flagship game, something that drove our development. Cooking Diary is a classic time management based on cooking. Ravenhill, a new hidden object game that went global last year. On soft launch, we have 2 other games, Riddle Side, a Match 3, and a mid-core game, an RPG arena brawler, Mana Storm. All these games are now available in Russia, although some of them they're in the stage of soft launch, so please download them and play, and if you have any feedback you can send it directly to me via social media. What's Cooking Diary? Cooking Diary is a time management cooking game where you have to develop your grandfather's catering empire, where you have to open new restaurants, new restaurant branches. You can customize your player, you can choose your shape of nose, etc., etc. There's a lot of social, there's competition, there are guilds, there are chats and so on. It took us a while to develop it. We started in 2015. We spent 2 years in development because free-to-play market was changing a lot in this period. So in order to have the best game, we had to adapt together with the market. In 2017, we soft launched, and we did a couple of tweaks, a couple of iterations before we went global in August 2018, and the result of the 3 years were fantastic. Reviews that we received, 4.8 is the average score that they gave us in their reviews on any store. Last year we also received an IMG in nomination of People's Choice Award. This is the game industry Oscar. This was held in San Francisco this year, and we're very happy that we received the People's Choice Awards rather than the jury awards. So this genuinely demonstrates this huge support that we have with our players. Now let's discuss the monetization strategies that exist in the market. 3 of them that are mostly prevalent in the market. In-app advertising that made a breakthrough in 2017, 2018, and also proliferated the hyper-casual genre, and subscriptions that have traditionally been available on PC and consoles, but now are also more and more frequently available in free-to-play games and mobile games in general. So how do we monetize in this title? Our core monetization is in-app purchases based on content. You have a lot of different restaurants you progress through, you buy new new utensils, you improve the restaurants, you customize more and more, and in order to move to the next level, you have to have more and more in-game currency. There's one currency you can only spend on the restaurant, and another type of currency you can invest into your character. Both of them are soft and hard, so you can make some amount in-game, and you can also purchase this for real money. This is an offer, a classic sales offer, which has been very popular with our players. On the right, this is a bank where you can get the hard currency, and at the bottom you see a non-standard offer, which resembles a classic piggy bank that is popular in other casual titles. So there's some customization. So if you're afraid of losing your currency, you will still have to buy it to save it in the kitty bank. This is the world map on the top right corner, and you can see the origin of Cooking Diary players on that map. The darker the color, the more players come from that country. Central Africa doesn't seem to really enjoy Cooking Diary for some reason. Every other country in the world does. But thanks to sales, we can get revenue from most of our countries, and 40% of our revenue through in-app purchases we generate through sales offers. Thematic offers is an offer that is tuned to an event, to maybe Chinese New Year at the top, something celebrated worldwide. At the bottom, the Cat's Day or the Fried Potatoes Day. So the balance is actually the same, only the visuals change, but this alone improves revenue benefit from this offer by 16 to 17%. A number of different offers with different mechanics here. On this slide, on top left is a scale offer, which does not. You have different price and different content, but every offer is as valuable to you. So you can buy in according to your buying power. So this is popular in countries outside of the Tier 1. Mid-center top there is something resembling a subscription when you buy once, and it gives you benefits for several days. It also influences retention positively. Kitty Bank, you've seen it. At the bottom, the classic double offer. There's an anchor game, there's an anchor price, which shows you how beneficial it is. And on the right is a sticker set, which means that the players are motivated to buy not just the in-game currencies, but the stickers, for instance, and other content, and use them in the in-game chat. The Tasty Pass, our game designer earlier this year presented on this topic. This video is available on the internet. It's bringing the battle into a casual game. So the player has a couple of unique levels of the food track with a free bonus, which is an outfit. This outfit looks good, but it could look even better if you buy the Tasty Pass. Tasty Pass also gives you a time-limited award. I'm going to show you how this affected our revenue. When we launched Tasty Pass, our average revenue grew by 41%. We experiment a lot with this kind of events, sales, offers, and so on. Game Analytics tells us that only 5% of all players spend money on in-app purchases globally. This means we can't reach to the rest of the players, 95% of them. The answer is simple: ads. So this takes me to the second strategy, monetization via ads. We didn't have a lot of experience when we launched Cooking Diary on the global scale. We only had in-apps because this is what we were experienced in via seekers nodes. And when we started to introduce ads, we started to use one classic placement. You watch a video, you get a ruby. So an alternative to the in-app purchase to those players who don't want to pay. So we checked the data, and it did influence in a negative way. It didn't influence the revenue negatively. We added a couple more and more. So we did 3 iterations of this, and this is how revenue changed. First placement on the left, 2 new placements in the middle, and 2 other placements at the right. And our ads monetization grew tenfold, independent of DAU, because you see there's no days were missed, and this means that new placement actually how they influenced the revenue. In-app revenue didn't suffer, wasn't cannibalized. Total revenue grew by 14%. And this is a lot because we make a lot of money via in-apps, so we were very happy with the result. Now we develop the ad monetization in a number of ways, so maybe at the next conference I will share how we're going to do this. So what do you need to know in order to work well with ads monetization? You have to know your segment. It will work much better if you really target a specific segment. You have to have very specific and rigid parameters. You have to really balance how much you show of what. Once you've done that, you just count the cash. Now, the third type of monetization strategy is subscriptions. In-app is a one-time transaction where, and it's a one-time boost, which is something that the player wants to come back to. But subscription is an offer that evolves. As the player progresses, gets new content, and their experience should grow to become more and more positive. This is subscription from Seekers nodes. We don't have it in the Cooking Diary yet. So this is the double energy restoration. On the left here, you have to wait for just half the time to play once again. On the right is a double experience, priced in $10. So if you get this subscription, you get twice the experience. We introduced this, and we didn't see a negative influence on in-app purchases. The revenue only grew. Why? Because double energy restoration actually allowed for the player to play twice as much. They spend twice as much time in the play session, and the more they play, the more they pay. The double experience months has allowed the player to consume more content in less time. The more content they see, the more chances they encounter where they could pay. So if we boost in-game activity, we boost revenue. This is the core logic behind it, because retention is king for our games. We want to retain them as long as possible, and monetization comes second to that. And we don't see any cannibalizing effect from subscription. I like subscription because, unlike ads or in-apps, you have to fine-tune and calculate everything before you launch it, because you cannot really update them once they are launched. So if you start with a cheap subscription and then you increase the price, you get bad reviews. If it's very expensive, then you will only attract very few users, and they will be not enough in terms of numbers in order to hypothesize and analyze. So these are the three strategies the experts distinguish between, and normally they rhyme with specific genres. What does this mean for your game? I think hybrid is the answer, something that brings everything together. So this is the one slide to summarize it all. So you start with in-apps that give you content, ads give an alternative to non-paying users, or they accelerate the playthrough for many users for the games where you have to wait. And this pushes the player further to reach subscriptions, which accelerates them further. They get more content, and they end up spending more on in-app purchases. If you balance this right, the revenue will only grow. 3 takeaways. You have to really think globally. If you have a million of players, it means you have a million of segments. Every player is different, every player is unique. Every player has a different budget. And don't necessarily start thinking with the pre-existing types, such as whales or dolphins. Try to offer unique experience to every player. Second, don't limit yourselves and your players. If you have a hyper-casual title, you can still try in-app purchases. If you have a great RPG that's making a lot of money from in-app purchases, then you can try subscription. Why not? Keep trying, try everything. Theory is nothing. There are ever so many experts, full of advice, choke full of advice, but only once you test and try, you will find out whether it will work for your game, because you know your game like no one else. Thank you.